Hey guys, ZFR here, and right now I'm going to be kind of giving you guys a bit of a rant video. Don't worry, I'm not going to make it too long. I'm going to try to keep this one short, even though every YouTuber usually says that ends up making it long. But really, getting into the topic I want to talk about. It's about The Witcher 3, and I just want to talk about some of the stuff the game has been getting judged on real heavily, I feel like. And I'm not trying to be a fanboy and defend the game, even though I technically kind of am. I'll admit it. I'll admit that I'm being a bit of a fanboy and protecting the game, but I feel like somebody needs to say something. And I mean, there have been people saying something. I even said something in one of my earlier videos about it. But to be honest, I feel like this deserves its own video. And so like just some of the stuff I feel like the Witcher's been accused of, it just feels I don't really care for some of it. I don't really think a lot of it's like people are saying, or if it is like people are saying, it's not 100% what they're thinking it is. So let's get into this. First, I want to talk about the combat. I've heard a lot of people say the controls and everything in the combat feels sloppy. Uh, I don't think so. Like, I mean, honestly, if I have to give you my honest opinion, I don't agree with that at all. Like, I'm not trying to be a fanboy or nothing, but I never touched a Witcher game before. I played plenty of other games. I played games like Bloodborne and Batman and all that. And to be honest, I think the Witcher's combat is just fine, especially for the type of game it is. Like, I hear people making comparisons to all these other games, but The Witcher isn't anything like these other games. That's what I think people are not noticing. Like, The Witcher is not at all like those other games, so therefore, of course, the combat isn't going to be anything alike. If that was the case, The Witcher would be those other games. But pretty much, I think the reason people are accusing the combat being so sloppy, I think what it is that the lock-on system at times can be the lock-on system is a little sloppy, I'll admit that, but the overall combat, I don't think so. Like, as you can see, I'm fighting pretty well here against this thing. Like, I don't really know how to parry and all that well, but I'm doing good enough. But I think the combat system is I think is real good in my opinion. Like I said, like the only problem is the lock-on system is a little light in my opinion. Like basically what'll happen, you're fighting a group of enemies, it'll switch on the fly between enemies depending on which one gets like directly in front of you, and when it does that, sometimes it can kind of throw you off while you're in the middle of combat. So I understand how people are catching. I'm willing to bet that that's the reason some people are kind of catching the combat system as sloppy. I'm willing to bet that's one of the reasons. And then some people might just not like the combat. I mean, that's very possible as well. To be honest, like I think I think The Witcher really isn't a game for everybody. Like, it's a RPG. Don't forget that. If you're an RPG fan, I think I find it hard to see someone who's not a fan of RPGs not liking this. Um, I think a lot of people are just like obsessing over the wrong things here. Like, another thing I've heard it's about the story. People have been saying the story's crazy boring, or the dialogue is crazy boring. Listen, I'm gonna say this once. I'm not gonna really talk about it again. The first hour or two of the story is slower than the rest of the game. The story and everything begins to pick up as you go. I don't know. I've heard so many people say that, but for some reason nobody believes anybody, and people just play. I've seen so many people and YouTubers only have played the first couple hours of the story and are already calling it boring. Have you not heard every other person who's been talking about this game say that the story starts off extremely slow. Alright, you have to keep playing, and don't forget the story is extremely long. The story is supposed to be 50 hours long, so it's going to take a while for you to get through the first part of the game, where they're still trying to prepare you for stuff and still training you and teaching you. Alright, um, and another thing I've heard a lot from people is about the graphical downgrade. Has the Witcher been downgraded since we last saw it at E3? Or since we saw it at E3? Yeah, it has, definitely. There's no doubt about it. It's not as good looking, and does that kind of suck? Yeah, it does, but I think this is topic, right? I'm gonna say it like this. I think this topic is getting way too much attention, in my opinion. Now, I wouldn't have cared if everybody had just made a video on it and moved on, but like there are people talking about it off the charts. Like I'm seeing like some of the first, like I'm seeing way too many graphical downgrade videos right now. Like, people, look at how good the game still looks, and then on top of that, look at everything that's in the game. All right, I mean, come on. Did you really expect this game to look as good as you saw it at E3, and still have those kind of graphics, and like still have this huge open world? Like, did anybody really expect that? Because if that's what you were expecting, like, you were just setting yourself up for failure. I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna be brutally honest with you there. Like, I mean, we know when there's a game that has a huge open world like this, we know the developers are going to have to make cuts in certain areas. So that should have been seen coming from a mile away, in my opinion. I think anybody who was expecting that just fooled themselves. I mean, alright, but I'm just being honest. I'm not trying to be rude about, but just telling you guys the truth here. But yeah, guys, those are just some of the things I feel like talking about. Like, I'm not gonna make this a long video because, like I said, The Witcher 3 does have its flaws. I even pointed out one or two flaws in here, like for instance, how the lock-on system's sloppy, how story starts off slow. Those are flaws. Don't get me wrong, but it's not the whole game, guys. But that's all I'm saying. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you guys enjoy. Don't forget to leave likes and comments below and tell me what you guys think. And I will see you guys later. ZFR out.